think Worlds is the last shot for this roster. I think if T1 don't win the split and don't make top 2 Worlds, like World Finals, I think they'll swap this roster 100%. 100%. I think Owner is going to be on the chopping block. So far, from me watching T1 the last 2 years, I think the first person to go would be Owner. I think if T1 is going to change their roster, they'll swap Owner first. And that's how I expect them to change their roster for next year if they fail this year. Which I think they will fail this year by the looks of it. They need to really step it up. They're not looking like T1 from 2022 or even 2021. Which was actually not bad. If they then change a second player, which I really doubt. I really doubt they'll change a second player. I think that second player is... I don't know. Like they would never get rid of Faker. Like they just won't. Getting rid of Gumayushi doesn't make sense because, to be honest, I don't think a lot of this year it's not really been Gumayushi's fault. I think Gumayushi had a lot of problems in 2021. His lane phase was really weak, and he... Not weak, but he made so many mistakes in lane. And in 2022, he just couldn't adapt to the meta very quick. But in 2023, I think Gumayushi's been pretty good. Zeus has been growing into a great player, and if you tell me, hey, I have a player here who's gonna probably play a little bit worse in finals at internationals, but in everything else he's gonna play like one of the best in the league, it's really hard to replace that. Like, how do you replace someone who's gonna play really well up into a single international final? That's really hard. You can't really find someone like that can, especially when you're T1 and you need results. So I don't think Zeus can be replaced. And Keria, I think Keria is a very confidence-based player, or maybe emotional player. And when Keria is in form, Keria is like world-class. But if Keria is not being Keria, then he's just a passenger sometimes, and he's just kind of there. But he has like the highest of highs of any player on the whole roster. But if he's lost, he can never really like, if he like dies once or twice or loses the pace of it, like he loses the flow of the game, he's just completely out of it. So I don't know which one of the 4 you replace. So I think that's why they'll only swap 1 player. If I had to say 1 more player, no matter what, over after Owner, I don't know, dude. Maybe Gumayushi, just because of the last 2 years. But I think this year Gumayushi's been really good. Gumayushi's been really good this year.
Because everyone knows, you see that 1 health forward and you're like, they're gonna lost it.
I just don't think they would ever get rid of Faker. I just don't think that'll ever happen. There's more to teams than just performance. And I think Faker is like really good, but he's Faker, like you. And then who are you replacing Faker with? You know, the problem you have as well is because it's T1. If you replace Faker and the mid laner you replace him with is like has 1 or 2 bad games, your fan base is gonna go absolutely ballistic. We lost the best player in league history for this. That's gonna be the comment in every post-game thread. That guy, whoever replaces Faker one day, I do not envy that guy. He has to... fuck that. I do not envy that whatsoever. Because one day it's gonna happen. And whichever guy replaces Faker, bro, don't turn on social media ever. And lock your doors and like, don't look outside ever. You focus on your game.
I feel like it kind of made more sense in the first series, given those scenarios.
And I mean, it's valid. Like, if T1 does kick Faker and then gets someone who's bad, then... I mean, I don't blame them for being in uproar, but... It's a lot of spotlight. It's a lot of spotlight. The Easy Hoon thing was a bit different though, because Faker was still there.